Good morning, people. Alright, this video is on backup, the good, bad, and ugly of it. The reason why I'm doing this video is because lately I've been running into, actually over like the last couple of years, running into people with problems, not problems with their backup, because, alright, here it goes. What you see this right here, this is a physical hard drive. Everyone has to remember that these things are not built to last forever. These will eventually fail, break down. This is a representation of what's on this hard drive. See the blue part? This is what's used up. Pink part is unused. What's used is 307 gigabytes. Now, I run into a lot of problems when people's hard drives finally do fail. It's a real task to bring it back because they have so much stuff on their hard drive. And the reason why it's a task is because a lot of times I'm talking about home users and home office users. A lot of this stuff is pictures, music, videos, a lot of personal stuff. Now, people have home offices also. They put their business information on their hard drive as well as their personal stuff. So they might have their client contacts, the Outlook data, business data, but they'll also have their personal stuff there, and they actually find all of that valuable. It's not like for some people, that sometimes their pictures are more important than everything else, but when the hard drive crashes and you don't have a proper backup, it can take 4 hours or above to put your computer back together. And some people have no backup at all. Sometimes they'll have to try to pull the data from the failed hard drive. When, believe it or not, I'd say about 85 to 90% of the time that I can do that. But that's that 10% that really hurts, because when people lose their stuff, they're really upset. But for whatever reason, people don't take backup that seriously. Now, there are two types you can do backup. You can either do an imaging backup, which is just like a clone or a carbon copy of what you already have on your hard drive. It's actually kind of great, because if I were to clone this hard drive and then the hard drive breaks down, all I have to do is get another hard drive, install it, put the clone image back onto the new hard drive, and you'll have the same setup right here, and you won't lose anything. You'll only be down for about 2 hours or so. Now, the drawback of the imaging files is that in real life, your image files, the bigger they get, the better the chances are they're going to be corrupt. And I've run into people with corrupt imaging files, and if that's your only means of backup, is really bad, because that means if you have a corrupt image file, you pretty much lose everything. You don't want really, really large ones. You want ones that aren't that big. Because image files, like I said, they aren't that, to me, they aren't as reliable as they should be. And now they're just plain file copy, but type of back, where you just copy all of you can actually just do a drag and drop, drag your My Documents folder to an external USB hard drive, and it'll take a little while, but that's like a simple means of backup. The big disadvantage of that is that when you do that, like this fails and you just copy files back, you still have to reinstall the OS, and then you'll also, even though didn't put the application, you have to reinstall the application like Microsoft Office, and that actually takes, that's where it starts to take 4 hours or above to bring a hard drive, to get a system back up and running again. Now, the best solution is to do a combination of the both, which is you do an image backup of the operating system, the applications, and you just do a file backup of the data. That way, if this crashes, you can just image the OS and the apps back to a new hard drive, then copy the data back. Then generally you can be back up and running within like 2 hours, 2 hours or less. Usually it's not more than that if you have this kind of setup. Now, the way you do this setup is you actually do something called partition. Partition this one physical drive into two different logical drives. It's still only one physical drive, but the operating system sees two logical drives. C drive to have your operating system, your applications, and then your D drive that has nothing but your data. This is kind of the setup that I have. My setup is really, I actually have two separate hard drives. One for this, a smaller hard drive for the C drive that has the operating system applications, and another drive for the data, and I also have another drive to do backup. But most people only have one hard drive, especially if you have a laptop. If you have a laptop, generally only you'll have one hard drive in there. So this you'll have no choice but to, if you want to go do your thing this way, which I think is best, put your OS and your data separate. So it's easier to back up, it's easier to restore. This is just to me the best situation when you want to do disaster recovery. Because doing imaging of a drive that's like 300 has 300 gigabytes of stuff is just kind of it's a little bit too risky. Um, oh, pitfall alert. Okay, applications such as Outlook, contact management programs, even though your My Documents might be on your data drive, a lot of times they'll save the data in something called an app data folder on your C drive. For instance, Outlook uses something called a PST, which I think stands for personal storage folders. It's always saved on your C drive, so unless you tell it otherwise. So you have to tell it to save it to this drive or else it will be saved here. So that's just something people need to know if you decide to like go this option. And I'm not showing you how to actually do this because in Windows 7 and in Windows Vista you can do something called shrink a volume without losing data and create a new volume, but all of that stuff is kind of risky. You could accidentally format your drive and lose your data. So instead of me showing you how to do it and then somebody messing up the step and like losing all their data, I would advise people if you've never done this before, don't risk it your first time out. Call a professional and have them help you out and do it. And even the professional will tell you he'll want to do a backup before he even does any of this stuff just in case. Um, oh yeah, backup. So alright, I'm not really going to cover the actual backup software or the hardware because that could get into another thing, and I already know that from what I've said now it might be a lot for people to digest. So the one thing I will say is that this piece of software, EaseUS Total Backup, this is free, it does imaging and cloning. You can schedule. It's for non-commercial users, not for business users. So but there's a commercial version you can buy where if you're a business user you can buy this. To me, I think it's a pretty good program. Clonezilla is imaging only. It's totally free. Acronis True Imaging, Norton Go, some of you probably heard about. You have to pay for these, but they do imaging and file backup. So you can image, like you can image on Sunday and you do a regular file backup Monday to Friday, and you'll have two images, a set of images and a set of file backup. So if your computer, when your hard drive eventually crashes, you can like bring yourself back up. But that's my advice, and I hope a lot of people like heed to what I'm saying, because for some reason people don't take backup seriously until after the hard drive crashes, and it's sometimes when you can't get people's data back, it's a real ugly sight. But for some reason people do not take it seriously, and you need to take it seriously. But anyway, thanks for listening. I hope everyone has a happy holidays. And thanks for listening. Peace.